Thank you very much, Secretary King. So our next two speakers are going to be Kristin Hayes-Leite and Couchon. Kristin Hayes-Leite is the 2018 Rhode Island Teacher of the Year, and Couchon is a 2005 Presidential Award winner and National Board Certified Science Teacher.
Good morning, El Paso. We cannot discuss what is happening to children today at our borders without a true understanding of the history of human rights. So we're going to go back to 1946, shortly after the foundation of the United Nations and the creation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. In the wake of World War II, the world saw firsthand the utter horror and devastation the Nazis inflicted on the Jews, the Slavs, the communists and unionists, homosexuals, and others that Hitler had targeted for extermination. The depths of human depravity was revealed, and members of the world community had to account for the way they, as nations, had responded to the people desperately fleeing persecution and death.
Consider this. In 1939, 83% of Americans opposed the admission of refugees. The anti-Semitic policies of the State Department made the process even more difficult for refugees applying for asylum. Our government refused to expand its quotas for refugees and turned away the St. Louis, a ship filled with Jewish refugees, forcing it to return to Europe, where many later perished at the hands of the Nazis. The truth was painful to confront, but with self-examination came the determination to protect human life and create a better world.
When the United Nations was created, its charter contained the ideals of human rights and basic freedoms, but a clearer articulation of what those rights actually were was needed. A commission was formed and chaired by Eleanor Roosevelt, and within 2 years, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was written and finally adopted on December 10, 1948, by the United Nations General Assembly. The words of Hernan Santa Cruz of Chile, member of the drafting subcommittee, captured the spirit of that moment. He said, "I perceived clearly that I was participating in a truly significant historic event in which a consensus had been reached as to the supreme value of the human person." The United States joined the unanimous vote approving this historic document, thus binding our nation to uphold this vision of human rights.
So today, in light of the fact that so many of our fellow humans are suffering and lawfully appealing to our government for asylum, a closer examination of a few of these specific rights is in order. Our fellow Rhode Islanders and NEA members, Amy Mullen and Mick LaForte, as well as some other amazing educators from across the country, are going to help us out with this. As each human right is read, please think about the children and families arriving at our border and consider if this human right is being upheld. Article 3, everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. Article 5, no one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Article 6, everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. Article 9, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile.
Article 14, everyone has the right to seek and to enjoy in other countries asylum from persecution. Article 16, the family is the natural and fundamental group unit of society and is entitled to protection by society and the state. Article 25, everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and his family. Motherhood and childhood are entitled to special care and assistance. In Article 26, near and dear to all of our hearts, everyone has the right to education. These are human rights, and they are universal. So I ask you this, who do these rights apply to? That's right. And in the case of the children currently being detained, are these rights being upheld? No! No, they aren't. And this is the crux of the problem. There are no human rights police. There is no 911 to call for human rights violations. So what do we do? There are two ways that we use to protect people and hold state and government officials accountable. One is through the rule of law and our domestic legal system, and we can see very clearly the importance of this route in order to protect children. But the other way, we can turn to the words of Eleanor Roosevelt herself for inspiration. In 1958, 10 years after these human rights were adopted, she said, "Without concerted citizen action to uphold," and I'm paraphrasing now, "these human rights, we will not make progress in our quest for a better world."
Concerted citizen action. People working together to take action. What we're doing here today, whether you're at home in your living room or here with us today, you are taking action. Write letters, picket, protest, and file lawsuits. Together, we are the human rights police.
We invite all of you to reflect on these rights and how we as citizens can work together to uphold them. For those present, please come join us off to the side. We'll have a table with the human rights on them. You can write messages that we can then use in our classrooms. For those at home, think about these rights and which ones speak to your heart, and then use your voices, use those teacher voices to take concerted citizen action to ensure that all humans have the rights they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristin. Thank you, Kathy.